Good morning, friends. Welcome to University Synagogue for our morning service for Yom Kippur. Delighted to have you all here and hope that you have an opportunity through our day to actually meet some of the people who are around you, because they shouldn't be strangers, they should be friends. So sometime during our morning or before you leave, make sure you introduce yourself, have a chance to welcome someone who is a new face to you. You may find out they've also been members of the synagogue for 27 years. We're going to turn, friends, to page 170 as we welcome our magnificent choir and Susan Rosenstein, music director, as they lead us in Psalm 150, page 170.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah, 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 kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah, kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah, kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallel.
With those majestic words on this majestic day, we turn together to page 173, and we proclaim God's glory with Hamelech, page 173.
Tzadikim baronai la yesharim tehillah.
We rise together as one community on page 178 for our official call to worship, our Baruch Hu.
Amen.
With creation renewing itself day by day, we turn together to page 181. Like an unbroken current, energy streams from the source, bathing the planet in light, calling forth life, movement, mind unfolding from matter, the power to love. And we offer it back to you, our own creative energy, ever dreaming, building, shaping patterns out of chaos, searching out light in the darkness. Creation never ceases, not for an instant. All life is aglow with your light. All things draw sustenance from your source. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. We praise you, Adonai, our God, creator of the lights of heaven. We continue, page 182. There's no better time to proclaim God's oneness with Shema than after hearing those words. We turn together to page 186 for Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We continue together the chanting of our Ve'ahavta, page 188.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Together, we turn to page 197, and we offer these words responsively. Page 197. Who is like you among the silent, mute and inscrutable? You witness our pain. Once upon a time, the sea split. Centuries of innocent blood, lives lost to hunger, war, to cruelty or indifference, and those who died with your name on their lips, and still they perish in distant lands, and still they languish on our chilly streets.
Your creatures are drowning even now, so why should we sing?
Ever silent, hiding out in history, you have your reasons, or so they say. You left us on our own, so let us give you leave. Withdraw into yourself. Withhold your saving power.
And we will live on memories of joy, and stubborn and stiff-necked we will live. Gather strength to fight the pharaohs when we must, and hold fast to freedom and celebrate in song, and vow that we will never be.
And so with that freedom that we enjoy, we take in that deep breath. We turn back to page 196, Michamocha, our song of freedom.
חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ויאמרו ישראל, קום בעזרת ישראל, ופדי חרומך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, קהל ישראל.
Prayer is both individual and communal. All the prayers we're about to offer come in the plural, and yet we begin in the singular. As we turn to 200 and rise for our tefillah, Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Ha'gadol Ha'gibor V'Hanora Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava
Sofreinu l'chaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'achtenu b'sefer ha'chayim, leman ha'elohim.
Melech Hozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah
204 at the bottom. Would you join me, friends? Your life-giving power is forever, Adonai, with us in life and in death. You liberate and save, cause dew to descend, and with mercy abundant, lovingly nurture all life. From life to death, you are the force that flows without end. You support the falling, heal the sick, free the imprisoned and confined. You are faithful even to those who rest in the dust. Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs, sovereign over life and death. Who is like you? Merciful God, who compares with you? With tender compassion, you remember all creatures for life. Faithful and true, worthy of our trust, you sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes. Wellspring of blessing, power eternal, you are the one who gives and renews all life. I invite you, friends, to be seated as we turn to 209. I'd invite you to reflect silently before we continue with Unatana Tokef on 209, or consider some of what I had to say last night about the Unatana Tokef. We continue privately and silently, 209. Unatana Tokef begins on 208.
קדושת היום, כי הוא נורא, והיום ובוא תתנשא מלכותך, וכל חסד כיסך, ותשב עליו באמת, ותשב עליו באמת. אמת, כי אתה הוא דיין ומוכיח, ויודע ועד. אמת, 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 כי אתה הוא דיין ומוכיח, ויודע ועד. וחוטאים, וחוטאים, ושורפים,
תזכור כל הנשכחות, ותפתח את ספר הזוהר, וחותם יד כל עולמו, וחותם יד כל עולמו, וחותם יד כל עולמו, וחותם יד כל עולמו.
ובשופר גדול ייתקע,
ושופר גדול ייתקע,
וכל דממה דקה יישמע.
וכל דממה
תפקוד נפש כל חי.
(212). On Rosh Hashanah, this is written, and on this fast day of Yom Kippur, it is sealed. (215) in the middle. Last night I referred to fate as what we receive in life beyond our control, but destiny is how we deal with it. This is a reading about destiny. Let's read responsively. When we walk through a valley of darkness, but find courage to live in the shadow of pain.
We transcend the harshness of the decree.
When we speak about fear with honesty and share what is hardest to say.
We transcend the harshness of the decree.
When day becomes night, but we let ourselves hope.
We transcend the harshness of the decree.
When we feel far from caring and friendship, but let go of pride to ask for help.
We transcend the harshness of the decree.
When in grief we are crushed by the absence of love, but open ourselves to your presence.
We transcend the harshness of the decree.
Page 218. Before we rise for the Kedusha, I want to acknowledge the presence of Councilmember Mike Bonin, who is here with us this morning. Appreciate so very much what you do for our district, and we're very honored that you are choosing to spend Yom Kippur with our congregation. We turn now, friends, to 218. Let us rise for the Kedusha.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה, והפך
Please be seated, friends. We turn to 223. Let's read together at the bottom of the page. To be awake is to be alive. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. One cannot help but be in awe when one contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. Never lose a holy curiosity. Wisdom begins with awe of the eternal. We're going to invite you, friends, to turn from 231 through 244, a moment for our own personal reflection. Take time to find the words that are in your heart or the words that can guide your introspection. 231 through 244. We continue privately and silently. Page 244 in the middle. Our God, divine presence, whose path our ancestors walked, bless us now with words first bestowed on Israel in the time of Moses and Aaron, the threefold blessing given us through Torah that joins our hopes with theirs. $246, friends.
Sim shalom. רחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. עושה השלום.
Page 248, friends. We continue in our own silent and private meditation.
It was dark, and we were cold and hungry. We ran from haystack to haystack, always careful and quiet, never to get caught. This was the story my grandmother used to tell me about how she escaped from the former Soviet Union. As a boy, I would sit next to her and listen to the story of her journey from danger to safety. As I grew up and I pieced the story together, I often wondered a few things. How many haystacks? How long did it take? How big were the haystacks? What is a haystack? But as the years passed on, I realized the details of the journey might be murky, but my grandmother wasn't just passing down our story from bondage to freedom. Those haystacks opened my eyes and opened my heart to the timeless struggle for safety and hope. A struggle that is our story, our heritage, and our soul. From Abraham and Sarah, Hagar and Ishmael, and Moses and Miriam, we are descendants of countless generations who journeyed into the unknown, seeking a brighter tomorrow. As I pray in this holy space today, I am keenly aware of those blessings that I have received from those brave and cold, dark journeys from those times of the haystacks. And although we have come this far, the journey is not yet complete. We have yet to reach that land of promise and potential. For as long as there are those who still journey for freedom, then the souls of the compassionate ones continue to journey with them. We sit here together today, we are hungry, we're tired, and we beat our chests and we ask God to not only awaken our slumbering hearts, but to break our hearts wide open. For on this journey of freedom, the closed heart sees pain and hopelessness and continues walking. But that broken open heart, it stops. It carries the burden. It responds with compassion. We ask God today to break open our hearts because we know that in this past year, too many hearts have been hardened. We gather here together today and we acknowledge that we have missed the mark. There are times that we have fallen short. Our capacity to love and care is limitless, and yet we admit that there were times that we carried less. We beat open our hearts and we promise not only to right the wrongs of this past year, but to affix a banner of love and compassion on every doorpost and every gate on this long road to freedom that we are still journeying. God opens for us the gates of this Yom Kippur with trust in our great capacity to care. Will we break God's trust in this new year? Or will we continue that journey that started for us ages ago? And will we enter into this new year responding with love and compassion with these broken open hearts? And respond. Respond we must. Too many cries go ignored because far too often we only allow our ears to hear those cries. But in this coming year, we must break open our hearts and let our heart listen. For it's the heart that can hear and truly respond. It's the heart that can hear that piercing cry that is so deep from that soul. There is a story from the book of Genesis of how our matriarch Sarah forced Abraham to expel Hagar and her baby Ishmael from the community. There in the wilderness, alone, cold, hungry, they find themselves lost and without hope. Hagar gives up. She leaves baby Ishmael behind a bush to die. Hagar walks away and she cries out in pain, in grief, in distress. And after Hagar's cry, our text says that God responds because he heard the cry of baby Ishmael. He heard the cry of baby Ishmael. But nowhere in our text does it say that Ishmael cries out. Hagar cries out, but God responds. Sometimes there is a cry that is so painful, so dark, so deep, that it begs of us to go beyond the ear and listen to that silence from the heart. It was that silent cry of Ishmael that was so deep and so scared that it caused God to draw near. God responds to Ishmael's cry, and in the text it says that God came to Ishmael ba'ashar husham. These Hebrew words, ba'ashar husham, for he was there. God hears that silent cry, and God comes to Ishmael. No conditions for the help. God does not wait for Ishmael to come to him. God hears that silent cry with compassion and draws near. Ba'ashar husham, he met Ishmael where he was. Today we are asked to find an ounce inside and be like God. We are asked to break open our hearts to the cries of the little ones who are Ba'ashar husham, who are there, waiting for us and our broken open hearts with compassion to draw near. In silence, they cry out to us, weeping and praying for a moment of salvation, waiting for our broken open hearts to hear and respond, Ba'ashar husham, simply where they are. As the horrors of history come back to haunt humanity, we ask ourselves, will we be the defenders of hope and respond to that lonely child, Ba'ashar husham, or will we close our hearts and turn away? During the pain of this past summer, we saw children being taken from the arms of their parents, and we couldn't help see but the souls of our ancestors in those who came to this border. Their tired eyes, broken and shattered dreams. They left everything for a brighter tomorrow and carried in their arms that one true treasure in life, a child. Many in this community responded with open hearts. We made calls. We took to the streets. We raised our voices. We saw those children, Ba'ashar husham. We heard their cry deep in our souls and our hearts, and we drew near. Today, on this Yom Kippur, as children still sit isolated and separated from families, as we continue to work for their return, we offer these words to our own children who this summer witnessed the stories, who saw our activism, who asked the question, could this happen to us? So this morning I offer these words to my children and to all of the children of the next generation. Dear Noah and Zev, as you enjoy your time under the sun, I have to tell you that something went wrong. Not with you, not with our love for you, but with this world in which we live. I need to remind you that you were brought into this world on a blessing. In your life, you have been surrounded by love and by comfort. You have the blessing of food on the table, clothes on your back, and shelter over your head. But I need to remind you that we live in a world in which those blessings are not universal. There are people that are born into danger, violence, and starvation. They have little choice but to flee the home in which they knew and journey into the dark and cold unknown. It's a journey that is familiar to our family. It's a journey that is familiar to the family of the journey of the people of Israel. It's a journey that took us from land to land and across that dark and cold ocean. You see, there is a darkness in this world, a darkness that is thick, a darkness that has lurked on this earth since the time of Moses and the plagues. Remember when we sat around the Passover table, we talked about the plague of darkness from ages ago? Well, that plague never went away. Yes, it shrunk, but it remained on this earth. And throughout history, that plague of darkness tends to creep into the hearts of people, and pain is caused. It's a darkness that your ancestors experienced. It forced them to hide from haystack to haystack. It hurled them into the sea and find safety and shelter in this new land. We never imagined that darkness would come to these borders, but we were naive. The darkness has spread. It found a crack and it came in, and it once again has hardened the heart. This summer has exposed you to stories and pictures and sounds of darkness. Darkness that has destroyed hope. Darkness that took children from their parents. Darkness that ignored the pain of the other. You see, we always taught you that love is a universal language and that one need not speak to show true feelings. We hoped that the look on those parents' faces at the border would be enough. We hoped that the pure souls of children who were Ba'ashar Husham, who were simply there, would be enough. But again, we were wrong. But if there is one thing that we have learned from our history, it's that moments of darkness never last. So we are a people of 7. 7 days of creation, 7 matriarchs and patriarchs. So I want to offer you 7 ways in which we get through this darkness and enter into the light. First, always remember that you are loved beyond words, and the love of a parent to a child and the love that this community offers will get us through these difficult times. 2, the darkness of a few will never weaken the light and love of the masses. 3, although we walk in a time of cracks and shatter, please know that we still have hope in humanity's repair. We know that goodness is our future. Love is always our inheritance. 4, with this crack in the hearts of a few, know that for us, darkness will never find its way in, because the light that you give is the greatest defense to darkness. 5, we might not be physically the strongest people that you know, but with our hands, we as a community will tear apart God's creation to reunite a child with his family. And 6, throughout every holiday, we remind you that we are a people of memory. And if there is one thing that we hold on to, it's this: our spirit has never been broken. Our hearts will never be hardened, and our love will never be diminished. And finally, 7, the wickedness of man does not endure, but the compassion of a people is eternal. I hope and I pray and I know that the people of good souls in this world will continue to come together and repair the cracks in our time. Today, Yom Kippur, it's hard. We are made aware of the shattered vessels of hope, but we are also empowered to look within and find strength to repair those vessels. Today is not just fasting and exhaustion. Today is not just remembering and recollection, but it's the belief that we can reach beyond our limits and in the face of pain, terror, and hatred, still strive to enter a new year with hope in humanity, with love in our hearts, and with the willingness to respond. Sitting here today from this beautiful vantage point, looking out at this community, we create a holy space, and we create a beautiful tapestry of Jews and non-Jews, members and affiliates, believers and seekers, people who share a common faith in the good of humanity, people who are willing to respond Ba'ashar Husham to the child that is there. I was once told a story of the famous civil rights activist Andrew Young. It was the late 1970s, and he was in Alabama for a benefit. It was a black tie event, and Andrew Young arrived in overalls with a tuxedo jacket and bow tie. When asked about his unique style, he responded, "I wear this tonight in the heart of Alabama as a reminder of where I am and where I came from." This morning, in my shirt and tie, but with this talit, I am reminded of where I am. I am reminded of where we came from, and we are reminded of that which we carry on our shoulders. With these 4 corners, we stretch throughout the earth, always carrying with us hope. Because with this corner, I am reminded that I come from a people who answer the word of God, respond to a child Ba'ashar Husham, where he or she truly is. And with this corner, I am reminded that I come from the generation of Moses who fled terror in search of hope and freedom. And with this corner, I am reminded that I come from a people who witnessed a burnt and destroyed temple, and in the aftermath of that destruction, found enough light and hope to rebuild. And with this corner, I am reminded that I come from haystacks that stretch to freedom, sneaking and hiding to find a better tomorrow. From enslavement and expulsion, we have always journeyed in this world, always carrying with us a heart of compassion that would never be tarnished. May the journey of the hopeful be acknowledged by all who hear their pain, and as they respond, and as we respond in the dark of the night, Ba'ashar Husham, my broken, open heart hears you. Let me draw near to you. Let us walk towards freedom together in this new year.
One voice, one people, one community in prayer, one God. We turn, friends, to 252 for Avinu Malkeinu. Let us rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu.
Page 256. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'chanun, Erech Apayim v'rav chesed ve'emet, Notzer chesed lalafim, Noseh avon v'afesha v'chata'a v'nakeh. Let us read together. Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, sure?
Please be seated. We have a number of honors to extend today, and our first aliyah this morning is from Nancy Stark and Stanley Eisman. Yamdu Shaul Eliezer ben Yeskel Ufegel Umindachana bat Yaakov Dvora. Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Elam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Our Torah readers in order will be Ali Abemeyer, please come forward, Madeline Glenn, Cole Hine, and Sierra Sugarman. Come on down. Friends, you can follow the Torah reading on 266 and following. This morning comes from the book of Deuteronomy, Atem Nitzavim. You are standing this day, all of you, in the presence of Adonai, your God.
Atem nitzavim hayom kulehem lifnei Adonai Elohehem rashehem shiftehem signahem v'shodrehem ho ish Yisrael tapehem neshehem v'gerha asher bekeref mahaneha mehotev etzeha ad sho'ev memeha Yovreha bivri Adonai Eloheha uva'alato asher Adonai Eloheha koret im ha'hayam.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah b'emet, v'chayilon mata betoheinu, Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Our second aliyah is going to be from Michael and Sarah Chaskis. Yamdu Mordechai Baruch ben Yosef Gnendel, v'sarabat Moshe v'shendel.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Leman hakimoteha hayom lo le'am vehu yelecha le'elohim ka'asher dibela lecha asher nishba le'avotecha le'avraham le'Yisach u'Yaakov ve'lo-idechem levadehem anohi koreit et habra'it hazot ve'et hala hazot ki et asher yishnot po imanu omeid hayom lifnei Adonai Eloheinu ve'et asher aninenu po imanu hayom.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Our third aliyah this morning is from Jeff and Lisa Cohen. Yamdu Chaim ben Nisan v'Sharon v'sarabat Yitzchak v'Rivka.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Chapter 30, verse 1 at the bottom of 266.
Amen. Ki hamitzvah hazot asher anochi metzavecha hayom lo nifneti mimecha lo rechoka hi lo vashamayim hi lemor ya'alelanu hashamayma yikecha lanu v'yashminu hota v'na'asena Lo me'ever layam hi lemor mi'avar lanu el ever hayam v'kecha lanu v'yashminu ota v'nasena ki karov elecha hadavar me'od v'ficha bilvavecha lasoto.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. We invite now anyone who has the privilege of traveling to Israel during the last year to come up and enjoy the opportunity for the Aliyah. Now, if you're seated in the congregation, still, this opportunity may await you. And we'd love to give you the opportunity to have such an Aliyah next year. I think I'm going to stand here and just look at this wonderful group. 1, 2, 3. Bar.
Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Re'et natati lefonecha hayom et ha'ayim ve'et ha'tov ve'et ha'mavet ve'et ha'ra asher avoki metzavecha hayom le'ahava et Adonai Elohecha lelechet bidrachav v'lishmor mitzvotav v'hukotav u'mishpatav v'hayita v'ravita u'varechacha Adonai Elohecha ba'aretz asher ata et shama l'rishta va'im yifne levavcha v'lo tishma v'nidachta v'hishtevita l'Elohim arim ve'avadetam.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you all for visiting Israel, for being part of the worldwide Jewish community, and you may be seated. We invite you to rise as we return, as we cover the Torah. For this is the Torah which Moses read before the Jewish people to fulfill the Word of God.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. לי לי לי
You may be seated, friends. As the Torah is gently held, we also gently hold the hands of our friends and our family who may be ill. And so we invite you to offer their names now as we approach our Misha Berach. This afternoon, we will have the opportunity to invite all who have suffered in some way any kind of illness during the last year, and we will invite you forward at the Ark for our Misha Berach. That's in our afternoon service. At the end of the day, we keep the Ark open for Ne'ilah, for people who would like to have an opportunity to be here on the Bima for a private moment at the Ark. We now invite you to mention the names of those who are ill as we think of all who are in need of healing. We hold all their names in our hearts, friends, as we turn now to our Misha Berach prayer for healing. Sammy Lena is going to offer the Haftarah blessings, and Eliana Feinstein is going to offer the Haftarah. You may follow the blessing on 275, and the reading from the prophet Isaiah comes on 277.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nivim tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nvi'eh ha'emet v'tzedek.
Kira v'garon al taksoch kashofar harem kolecha v'haged le'ani pisham u'veit Yaakov atotam ve'oti yom yom yidroshun v'da'at derachai yechpatzun kegoy asher tzedakah asa u'mishpat Elohav lo azav yishaluni mishpatei tzedek kirvat Elohim yechpatzun lama tzamnu v'lo ra'ita ininu nafshenu v'lo teda hein b'yom samchem timsu chayfetz v'chol atzvechem din gosu hein l'riv u'matzah tatzumu u'lakot be'egrov resha lo tatzu Umuchayom lehashmiya b'marom kolchem hachazeh yeh tzom evcharehu yom anot adam nafsho halachov kehagmon rosho v'sak va'efer yatziyah Halazeh tikrat song ve'yom ratzon Adonai.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol amim Tzadik b'horo, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber u'mkayem, shekod harav, emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'vim, v'yom ha'kippurim hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, limhilah v'lisliha, u'kapara. Lehavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim la u'mevarahim ota yitbarashim ha b'fi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed u'varach emet v'kayam la'ad Baruch atah Adonai melech moher v'solea la'avonotenu V'la'avonot amo be'Yisrael u'ma'avir ashmotenu b'chol shana v'shana mela'ah kol ha'aretz mekadesh Yisrael v'yom ha'kippurim.
Amen.
Please turn to page 284, a prayer for our congregation. Eternal Presence, who blessed our mothers and fathers, bless this holy congregation, a house of study, prayer, and righteous deeds. Please join with me as we give thanks to our leaders and members. For our leaders, those who learn, teach, and uphold the Torah, inspiring others to learn, teach, and uphold the Torah. Those who do the sacred work of building our community, may their service bring them joy, fulfillment, and purpose, and may they go from strength to strength. For our members, interest and background, Jews by birth, Jews by choice, and those of others' faith who join with us, all who offer their time and talent, their love and commitment. For all who come here on this holy day of Yom Kippur to share the search for meaning and renewal, your presence is a blessing, your friendship a gift. It is my privilege to introduce the members and clergy who join us on the Bima. To my left, Joe Eben, our past president, Fern Topis-Salka, Lisa Laffer, our board trustee, C.J. Laffer, Rabbi Simons, Rabbi Feinstein, Cantor Shapiro, Cantor Freilich, Harvey Fine, Cammie Gordon, Howard Gordon, Martha Melvoin, and our past president, Jeffrey Melvoin. Shortly after our morning service concludes, which is now our afternoon service almost, we have 3 very interesting breakout sessions prior to the afternoon services. In the chapel, Yuval Ron will be playing oud as he leads meditation and music. In the Beit Midrash on the 3rd floor, our student rabbi, Joanne Loibin, will be teaching of which 3 things does the world stand. And in room 307, also on the 3rd floor, our Tikkun Olam committee is sponsoring homelessness in our community, led by representatives from Safe Place for Youth, the St. Joseph Center, and People's Concern. Our afternoon services begin at 2:30. There will be parking available at St. Martin's, and I encourage you to join us in the afternoon services and stay to its conclusion. You will want to experience the feeling of belonging to this community as the sun sets, the lights are dimmed, and we close these high holy days with our final shofar blast and Havdalah. As a reminder to our religious school parents, this Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. is the first day of the new school year. Immediately following school is Takot for Sukkot. That's celebration. On Saturday evening, October 6th, the University Synagogue Film Society kicks off its 2nd season of monthly screenings with Yitzhak, a documentary about violinist Yitzhak Perlman. Cantor J will co-host, and live music will be performed by our violinist Sam Fisher and our celloist Dennis Karmazin. The Tikkun Olam Committee and Sisterhood are presenting Sing Out for Justice, a special Shabbat sing-along service on Friday, October 26th. Our Introduction to Judaism course will be taught in January by Cantor Shapiro. I know you've heard this before, but it's so true. You give us 18 nights and we will give you 4,000 years. Everything we do can be found in our weekly newsletter, The Torch. Please read it often. And last, but certainly not least, the High Holy Day appeal envelopes are in your prayer books. Please hand your donation to our ushers as you exit today. May the rest of your fast be easy. L'Shana Tova.
Let us rise. Page 290. Page 293. You may be seated as we close the ark. (293) Because I was angry, because I didn't think, because I was exhausted and on edge, because I'd been drinking, because I can be mean, because I was reckless and selfish. I was worried about money. My marriage was dead. Other people were doing it because I thought I could get away with it, because I did something wrong.
Because I'm in pain, because I wish I could undo it, because I hurt him, because I lost her trust, because I let them down, because I was self-destructive.
Because I was foolish, because I'm ashamed, because that's not who I am, because that's not who I want to be, because I want to be forgiven.
God, bring down my walls of defensiveness and self-righteousness. Help me to stay in humility. Please, give me the strength to do what's right.
We enter into the vidui, the confessional moment of our service. As we look at this past year, we become vulnerable. It's easy to make mistakes. It's hard to ask for forgiveness. So we take a moment, we take in that deep breath, we become prepared as one community to ask for forgiveness, to become vulnerable together, and to make amends. Page 296. We rise together in the middle of page 296. We gain comfort and strength with one another, knowing that we do not have to confess alone, but as a community, we confess together. Middle of page 296.
Di barnu dofi
may be seated. As we continue, pages 300 to 306 with our own private confessions. Pages 300 to 306. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. We continue with another moment of private confessional. The words on page 307, 308, or 309, or simply closing your book and closing your eyes and the words that are upon your heart. We continue on page 310 with Ki Anu Amecha.
Friends, just a couple of words before the conclusion of our service. Those of us who will be able to be here for our final shofar blast, the breakfast will be sponsored by our sisterhood, and we thank them in advance. We want to thank our ushers, led by Barry Sykoff. We want to thank Susan and our marvelous choir and all the musicians who have helped to make this day so enriching for all of us. It's a delight to be on the bima with Rabbi Simons, with Cantor Shapiro, and with Cantor Freilich. You have no idea what it does to our hearts to have us all together here. I also want to extend our thank yous to all of you. Services couldn't happen without a minyan, and we're delighted that you're all here today. I hope that you will take my word from the beginning of the service, which is see if you can make a new friend before you leave today with the people around you, seated around. We don't build community with strangers, we build community with friends. So introduce yourself and make sure that you have an opportunity to meet someone new or say hello to someone you haven't had the opportunity to see. Alan's Hebrew is about 98% effective, but I want to just repeat one phrase for Sunday night is takot for Sukkot. We'll have a taco truck maker here. That's why it's takot for Sukkot. So that's Sunday night. After religious school begins and then our Sukkah celebration, there'll be a takot for Sukkot. So we'll be making them a temple, and we are unique in that. So we turn, friends, to page, I'm sorry to all these food announcements, but it's Yom Kippur, what can I do? Page 318. Let's read together at the top. Infinite source of goodness, help us to see the good in ourselves, in others, and in the world around us. Teach us to cultivate a discerning mind, to know right from wrong, and a listening heart, open to love and forgiveness. Guide us to walk in your ways with integrity, ever faithful to the promises our forebears made, and may your goodness inspire us to do what is just and right. We could not end the day without thanking our staff at University Synagogue, our administrative staff led by Toby Burko, as well as all those who help us, our custodians, our security, and all who make our services come together. On the bottom of 319, our final two paragraphs, let's read together. Our energies replenished, our commitments renewed. Tomorrow we go forth to serve the Most High. In small ways, in all ways, let us align ourselves with the good, our minds and hearts and hands devoted to Tikkun. In humility, we stand here this day, hoping to lift up our lives and persevere through life's trials. Let us gain strength from one another. Let us gain strength from the tradition we share. Shalom.